Hello friends, welcome to channel Reza Blade. I'm your friendly neighborhood Reza. My videos cover nail stamping, nail art, new products, tutorials, and hopefully a lot of inspiration. I am jumping right into part 2 of stamping for longer nails. I've got a bunch of examples. This video is about how to change the stamping so that it looks good on your longer nails. The previous video, link in the description below, is about how to pick out images for your longer nails. So this is a little bit more, I think, what people wanted to see from me, and I'm going to go into a lot of detail here. So maybe save this for reference later, or take notes, or whatever you want. Before I start the video, though, a tiny request. Please click like if you enjoyed this video, or the topic, whatever. I'd love to hear your comments below. It really helps out my channel to get likes and comments and things. And that's all I have to say about that. So let's move right along. So I told you that I would be talking about how to change things. I have some notes, and I have the notes organized by what I did to make the image fit the longer nail. So second half. Same amount of stamping. So I'm going to tell you this before I go. I have a document. I made a chart. This is something that I'm happy to turn into a PDF and send to you if you want like a written idea sheet of things that you can do. You'll see I've divided it up into same amount of stamping, arranging the stamping, and then extra stamping. Okay, so let me know in the description below, or just message me on Instagram. My Instagram link is in the description box too, to tell me if you want this this chart. Okay, so now I'm going to get rid of the chart though, because I found that it does not help me make a video. Anyway, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is color blocking, or any amount of inset, any kind of inset to fill up the extra space. So this color blocking was done in a very easy way. I picked up the line, that gold line, and I put the red very precisely over the line and down a little bit, and that is how I made my color block inset. I didn't have to use tape on that one. It's really easy when you do it on the stamper. I can show you that. Let me know if you need a video about that. Now here, this is a literal half moon. Well, no, not, it's a quarter moon, but anyway, a half moon on the half moon. So you can add something, you put it on the half moon. I have this here too. I did color blocking with an actual plate image. This is, I think, a Shop Ants plate. It has some poker images here, or playing cards, whatever. And you'll see how I changed the stamping from the small image to the larger image. I could have just, chucked it in the middle there and called it a day, but I wanted to do something extra with my extra real estate. Next is probably my favorite mani I've done in a while. And this is to demonstrate the idea of add a French tip. So you can do it with, I have a little sticker trick that I use for these little reinforcement labels. But you kind of got to cover up the middle hole with a little bit of tape if you don't want to be really messy. So those are helpful for doing French tips. But what I do is I use a special plate, like a stamping plate, for the French tips. This one is Beauty BigBang. Anyway, this one's Beauty BigBang, and that is that. You do have to kind of get the practice. There's a learning curve to these, but it can be done. Use a super hard card like this one, like a kind of a credit card style, and get as flat as you can. You're not going to want to do the normal 45-degree angle that you do for stamping. You're going to want to get as close to parallel as you can while still actually scraping. And that is how to do that. So that's how I made these. And then I used a MoYou London plate to make all of these little leaf accents there. This one I did to play with a new polish from Hit the Bottle, multi-chrome that I'm in love with, called Swimming with Sirens. There's a whole collection. I will put the link below. There are plenty of places that have it already. Or a couple places that have it already. All right, here's another example of the color blocking. This one I did do with Scotch tape. You really want to make sure your mani is dry and cured before you do anything with Scotch tape on your mani. But what I did here is I stamped this from the new Beautometry Witches plate. You know, you can see it says magic and other kind of magical words. Whoa, there we go. Here we go. Now it's a Reza video. I've already dropped something. So that is how I did that color blocking. And I liked, these are at opposite ends of these fingers, so I really enjoyed that. That was fun to do. This one, you will hardly even notice what I did. I took a tiny little detail brush. This one's from Lantern and Wren, super tiny. You make sure all the bristles are behaving, and then you just very carefully and very lightly extend the line to wherever your nail ends. So that's what I did there. Next technique, the stamping fade into gradient. This is one of my favorite techniques because it is so impressive looking, well, in my opinion. And this is a Hit the Bottle Hearts plate. And I do have a video on that one too. But so this one is, I did the gradient, and then normally I don't use stamping polish for the base coat, but it was very important for this to work that the bottom color in my gradient was the exact same stamping polish that I used. And that way it literally fades in the gradient. If you stamp in an exact the same color, it's not going to look, it's not going to show, right? So the stamp is actually like this long, and look how long that nail is. I also did a sample mani doing the same technique. I hope you like that one. That is a chevron from the Maniology Ellen-ish plate. I bought that like 5 years ago. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you like this mani. I fixed my thumb. That was crazy. I get absent-minded sometimes. Anyway, so what more do I have to show you? So I told you about the gradient fade. It's a really fun technique, and it hides that your stamping doesn't reach all the way down. The other technique, just turn the stamping image. So here is how the stamping image appears on the Uberchic plate that I took it from. And then I turned it so that it would work on a longer nail more and take up more real estate, if you get my drift. So another example of turning the image or crossing the available space is kind of this one, even though I use this for a different example later on. But you can see I've taken the vine and I've just crossed the available space with it in a pattern. Another example is the mani that I wore for part 1 of this topic video. And I took something that appears on the plate vertically, and I did an asymmetrical look with it, and I think it really works for those longer nails. All right, next, arranging your stamping. So first, it's going to be make a pattern with your smaller images. So I didn't just make a pattern with these images. I did a dottic or two kind of with the dotting tool, just to make it look a little bit more, I don't know, snazzy. Not sure if I like it. Oh yeah, tell me which is your favorite example. That would be a good comment for me to hear. I am interested in hearing what you all have to say. All right, so, and then this is also a pattern, you can see. Also, randomly space your image to fill your space if you want. This isn't what I did here, but I have it listed, so I don't know what I was thinking. Big center stamp with coordinating accents. So I took these clouds from a different plate, no clue what plate. This wall is from a Leslie plate, I'm pretty sure. And so that's what I did, center stamp. This is another example of taking a smaller stamp and, well, kind of a center stamp, but also kind of stacking the pattern, which is what I did here. Important thing to do when you are stacking a pattern, I'm sorry, I moved on from the center stamp very quickly because I don't have a lot to say about it. Just stamp in the middle. But as far as finding the repeat in a pattern, that's important. So I'm going to take out my handy dandy resources here. And let's look at the pattern that I used for this set. It's from an Uberchic plate. I have to find it. I think it's got to be in this page. Here we go. Okay, so it was on Uberchic Collection 11 Plate 2. And here is the stamp that I stamped, the image that I stamped. You can see up here you've got solid blocks with a triangle and a circle. Down here, solid blocks with the triangle and the circle. And when I match up the other images, they match up too, those little spiky triangles on the edge there. So that is my repeat. So I know where the repeat is. I can use a stamper, pick it up, and I am gonna release a video explaining how to do this, like demonstrating how to do this. But a very good tip that I have learned is, so here's my image. Pretend that there's an image here. You don't just put the Scotch tape on the stamper to remove some of the stuff. If you're trying to interrupt a pattern like this that was all stamped together, you want to press directly on the tape, and that will actually kind of tear the image. Again, there is a video coming about this. Let me know if you're happy or excited about it. Anyway, so now you can see also, like I showed you the example earlier, with the vertical lines, you can see I turned them and I turned it into a whole new different kind of look. Okay, so this is something you can do with any number of patterns, including, here's Halloween 12 from MoYou London. This is a damask that has like a skull inside. It's very cool. In order to do this on a longer nail, this will go at the very top of the nail or bottom of the nail, whatever. This will go at the very top, and you're going to remove this little image with tape, or you can use a little lint roller if you want. I find the tape to be the best, the easiest to use. So anyway, and then you stamp it again, and this time you're going to remove this whole top row, all three of these, so that you can set it down here at that center complete damask piece. And that's how you make that nail longer. And I'm going to show you what it looks like, because I did it right here. I don't actually know why these are, oh, because this is the extra stamping part. But here is the example of the extra rows, the extra pattern. Do I have, no, I guess I didn't keep the small nail for that set. Anyway, I actually got out of order here. No, I didn't. Sorry about that. I hit my head on the light to which the camera is attached. All right, so I told you about stacking the patterns, and I'm showing you a lot of stacked patterns in just a second. I have this image from Uberchic, and this is 2303. And I turned it sideways and then stacked it in this little manny here. You'll see what I did. I just have extra lines there, and I colored them in on the stamper. That's all reverse stamped there. This stacked pattern look is where I took the witch plate from Beautometry, and I wanted different words. I didn't want to just stack it one for one. I wanted different words on different parts of the nail. So when I stamped it down, here I come with more pictures. When I stamped it down, great. When I stamped it down, I put the left side down over the center of the nail first. And then when I stamped the top part, I put the right side down over the center, over the nail. So I use different sides to be more prominent, and that is how the whole nail looks different and unique. This is also a stack from a MoYou London. You'll see this is the full image, and then the star is where the images meet. So I have, here's one image, and then I stacked it beneath it, and I covered that, or made it look on purpose, because I guess it was on purpose, with that little star, which is from the same plate. I am going going to look and see if that plate is on my little sheet of paper. It is not. Okay, that's not on my sheet of paper. How do you do this with geometrics? Well, you do it, you set down one stamp, and then you see where the lines have to match up, and you set down another stamp. This one is a bit fussy. Keep the Scotch tape handy. If you catch it quick enough and you put the stamp down wrong on the nail, you can just Scotch tape it off. So that you got to work quickly to do that though. All right, so I've shown you this whole plate. I think we're going to talk more about extra images or rows. So, oh, here's a good. This one I did in a pattern. This is from Born Pretty Plate. I arranged them so that they filled up the available space. And this one is from the same plate, but you can see where I used Scotch tape to color block at the tip of that nail. That I think that counts as a French tip look. For this long nail, I took a What's Up Nails plate and I put down the wand with all those little yellow stars, and then I put down the fairy. And so they're related, but they are on the same nail. This is a large image from a AliExpress plate that I've already reviewed. This is a geometric image that just happens to take up a lot of space. And this is the coordinates idea with some color blocking. This one is extra reverse stamping to fill up the image, okay? So this is just the regular short nail with the regular image, and I do have that on my stamper. I mean, on my list of sheet stamps. So this is the Beauty BigBang XL003. You can see this stamp. I stamped it plain on the short one. I did it on the tall one, on the long nail, and I took this image and I reverse stamped it. So I filled it with that dark burgundy color. And that is how I covered up that space on that nail. If you are looking at this one, it is a particular favorite of mine, because what I did here is, yes, I did an extra reverse stamp, but I flipped the image. And the way that I flip images is because I've tried it the fast way and it doesn't work for me. I'm just not that graceful. So I make it into a reverse stamp with a couple extra coats of the Wet n Wild, and then I use tweezers or my fingers to flip it on the stamper, and then I set it down and color it in, and it's poof, it's a reverse stamp mirror image sort of look. And I do really like the way that that one turned out. The extra rows, I do have a demo that I already filmed with this particular set. I don't remember what plate I used, but it is in the demo, so keep a lookout for that. Make sure you're subscribed, etc. This is extra stamping only because I put extra texture in. Otherwise, it's essentially the same nail. This is extra stamping only because I had to put a couple of extra stars on the edges there from this image. It was super easy. I just picked up the stars. This I colored so I can show you the extra row. So I made this nail, which is, of course, the short one, and then I stamped the pattern. Again, this is from a One Up Hit the Bottles plates. I think it might be To Boldly Go, but I might be wrong about that. I think I am wrong about that. And then the red that's all the extra stamping I had to do for that particular nail. So I think that I have shown you all of my things, my samples that I've made. And that's most of my ideas. I'm not saying that my thesis is completely comprehensive. I'm sure there are other ideas that people have had, but this is what I do. So I'm really happy to share that chart with you if you want, if you think it will be helpful. There will be still photos of these manis and nail art on my Instagram. My account info, as I said, is in the description field. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I am doing a little bit better, just ever continuing to hopefully do a little better, feeling better, which is what I mean. And if you liked or enjoyed it, appreciate the work I put into it, please like it, thumbs up, And of course, also, please comment. Tell me what you liked, what idea you liked, if you think you might use it, or just say hi. So I still have that My Mandy Box reviews coming. Lots of fun to be had. So keep creating, and I'll see you next time.